But staking longer in terms of like the ICOSA and Hedron staking is beneficial because that system uses the hex share rate, right? So you stake one day and your points are derived from the share rate. So if the share rate goes up on the next day, you're technically getting a little less points for how much ICOSA you're staking, right? So every day it takes a little bit more ICOSA to get the same amount of points. It borrows that system from Hex and it uses the share rate from Hex specifically so that ICOSA's like price ceiling is roughly the cost of making a 5555 Hex stake per T share. And that, like we talked earlier with the arbitrage and stuff, because it helps enforce that.
What is that ceiling today?
Pretty much whatever that ICOSA price is. Let me look at what we're at.
There's always something the market is pricing in then?
Yeah, there's a handful of people that I watch on this that are literally constantly sitting there. So we're at about $1.20 on ICOSA, and where's Hex at? Hex is at 4 cents. So I had to actually do the math. There's someone watching this right now who knows exactly that number, who's constantly watching it, I'm sure, but that seems about right to me.
Yeah, there's some good people. Giffer Ware is one who's been talking a lot about it too. Is there, so maybe that's one question people have too, in general, about price ceilings and things with ICOSA like that. So you mean we're not getting a 10,000x out of ICOSA?
Well, not if Hex doesn't, like it's like it is a derivative of Hex and it moves with Hex. The same with Hedron, right? Like if Hex tomorrow died and went to zero, right? Well, where's all the utility for Hedron? It's gone, right? Hedron would have no value, and by default, ICOSA would have no value. So the difference is that time's also a factor. So we're not locked to the Hex price per se all the time. It's just that is the point at which you could theoretically make an HSI and sell it and get a better deal than the market. So what the other thing to consider is that it's based on the share rate too, right? So let's say Hex stayed $1 forever, right? Well, ICOSA wouldn't stay $1 forever. It would slightly go up because that share rate's still increasing, and your those HSIs are getting a little bit less ICOSA every time. So their value is worth a little bit less ICOSA coins just because of the share rate alone. So if Hex was stagnant for 10 years, ICOSA would slowly have a higher ceiling over time, regardless of Hex price.
So the most profitable play for ICOSA is just staking it to get more of it, not necessarily the price to go, astronomical.
Yeah, at this point, that seems to be what people's mindset is. When there's more supply, that might be different, because we could have volatility at some point. It's just right now with so few tokens actually being liquid, there's not a lot of reason to have volatility. Like as soon as there is volatility, someone just buys it up because it doesn't take a whole lot to do it.
Well, if most people are staking, though, wouldn't the volatility go in the up direction where more people will be wanting to buy it, but there's not enough for sale, not enough liquidity?
Well,
you see that?
Well, because you have two ways of buying it essentially, right? You can buy it with an HSI, or you can buy it on market. And if market's more expensive than doing the HSI way, then people tend to do the HSI, which ends up being like a Hedron bullish thing because those all get liquidated, right? So
right. It all makes sense. I like it.